change in you, although the ravages of time are easier to see in others. In your own case, they are far less obvious because to you they do not show. While other people are snatched away from us, we are being filched away surreptitiously from ourselves. Are you never going to give any of these considerations any thought, and never going to apply any healing treatment to your wounds, instead of sowing the seeds of worry for yourself by hoping for this or that, or despairing of obtaining this or that other thing? If you're sensible, you'll run the two together, and never hope without an element of despair, never despair without an element of hope. What good has travel of itself ever been able to do anyone? It has never acted as a check on pleasure or a restraining influence on desires. It has never controlled the temper of an angry man or quelled the reckless impulses of a lover. Never, in fact, has it rid the personality of a fault. It has not granted us the gift of judgment. It has not put an end to mistaken attitudes. All it has ever done is distract us for a little while through the novelty of our surroundings, like children fascinated by something they haven't come across before. The instability, moreover, of a mind which is seriously unwell is aggravated by it, the motion itself increasing the fitfulness and restlessness. This explains why people, after setting out for a place with the greatest of enthusiasm, are often more enthusiastic about getting away from it. Like migrant birds, they fly on, away even quicker than they came. Travel will give you a knowledge of other countries. It will show you mountains whose outlines are quite new to you, stretches of unfamiliar plains, valleys watered by perennial streams. It will allow you to observe the unique features of this or that river, the way in which, for example, the Nile rises in summer flood, or the Tigris vanishes from sight and at the completion of its journey through hidden subterranean regions is restored to view with its volume undiminished, or the way the meander, theme of every poet's early training exercises, winds about, loop after loop, and again is carried close to its own bed, and then once more diverted into a different course before it can flow into its own stream. But travel won't make a better or saner man of you. For this, we must spend time in study, and in the writings of wise men to learn the truths that have emerged from their researches, and carry on the search ourselves for the answers that have not yet been discovered. This is the way to liberate the spirit that still needs to be rescued from its miserable state of slavery. So long, in fact, as you remain in ignorance of what to aim at and what to avoid, what is essential and what is superfluous, what is upright or honorable conduct and what is not, it will not be traveling, but drifting. All this hurrying from place to place won't bring you any relief, for you're traveling in the company of your own emotions, followed by your troubles all the way. If only they were really following you, they'd be farther away from you. As it is, they're not at your back, but on it. That's why they weigh you down with just the same uncomfortable chafing wherever you are. It's medicine, not a particular part of the world, that a person needs if he's ill. Suppose someone has broken his leg or dislocated a joint. He doesn't get into a carriage or board a ship. He calls in a doctor to have the fracture set or the dislocation reduced. Well then, when a person's spirit is wrenched or broken at so many points, do you imagine that it can be put right by a change of scenery, that sort of trouble isn't so serious that it can't be cured by an outing? Traveling doesn't make a man a doctor or a public speaker. There isn't a single art which is acquired merely by being in one place rather than another. Can wisdom, then, the greatest art of all, be picked up in the course of taking a trip? Take my word for it. The trip doesn't exist that can set you beyond the reach of cravings, fits of temper, or fears. If it did, the human race would be off there in a body. So long as you carry the sources of your troubles about with you, those troubles will continue to harass and plague you, wherever you wander on land or on sea. Does it surprise you that running away doesn't do you any good? The things you're running away from are with you all the time. What you must do is mend your ways and get rid of the burden you're carrying. Keep your cravings within safe limits. Scour every trace of evil from your personality. If you want to enjoy your travel, you must make your traveling companion a healthy one. So long as you associate with a person who's mean and grasping, you will remain a money-minded individual yourself. So long as you keep arrogant company, just so long will conceit stick to you. Cruelty you'll never say goodbye to while you share the same roof with a torturer. Familiarity with adulterers will only inflame your desires. If you wish to be stripped of your vices, you must get right away from the examples others set of them. The miser, the swindler, the bully, the cheat, who would do you a lot of harm by simply being near you, are actually inside you. Move to better company. Live with the Catos, with Lelius, with Tubero. If you like Greek company too, attach yourself to Socrates and Zeno. The one would teach you how to die, should it be forced upon you, the other how to die before it is forced upon you. Live with Chrysippus, live with Posidonius. They will give you a knowledge of man and the universe. They will tell you to be a practical philosopher, not just to entertain your listeners to a clever display of language, but to steel your spirit and brace it against whatever threatens. For the only safe harbor in this life's tossing, troubled sea is to refuse to be bothered about what the future will bring and to stand ready and confident, squaring in the breast to take, without skulking or flinching, whatever fortune hurls at us. When she created us, nature endowed us with noble aspirations. And just as she gave certain animals ferocity, others timidity, others cunning, so to us she gave a spirit of exalted ambition, a spirit that takes us in search of a life of not the greatest safety, but the greatest honor, a spirit very like the universe, which, so far as mortal footsteps may, it follows and adopts as a model. It is self-assertive. It feels assured of honor and respect. It is master of all things. It is above all things. It should accordingly give in to nothing. In nothing should it see a burden calculated to bow the shoulders of a man. Shapes frightening to the sight, hardship and death, are not so at all, if one can break through the surrounding darkness and look directly at them. Many other things that have caused terror during the night have been turned into matter of laughter with the coming of daylight. Shapes frightening to the sight, hardship and death. Our Virgil perfectly rightly says that they are frightening not in reality, but to the sight. In other words, that they seem so, but in fact are not. Just what is there about them that is as terrifying as legend would have us believe? Why, Lucilius, I ask you, why should any real man be afraid of hardship or any human being be afraid of death? I constantly meet people who think that what they themselves can't do can't be done, who say that to bear up under the things we Stoics speak of is beyond the capacity of human nature. How much more highly I rate these people's abilities than they do themselves. I say that they are just as capable as others of doing these things, but won't. In any event, what person actually trying them has found them prove beyond him? Who hasn't noticed how much easier they are in the actual doing? It's not because they're hard that we lose confidence. They're hard because we lack the confidence. If you still need an example, take Socrates, an old man who had known his full share of suffering, who had taken every blow life could inflict, and still remained unbeaten either by poverty, a burden for him aggravated by domestic worries, or by constant hardships, including those endured on military service. Apart from what he had to contend with at home, whether one thinks of his wife with her shrewish ways and nagging tongue, or his intractable children, more like their mother than their father, his whole life was lived either in wartime or under tyranny, or under a democracy that outdid even wars and tyrants in its cruelties. The war went on for 27 years. After the fighting was ended, the state was handed over to the mercy of the 30 tyrants, a considerable number of whom were hostile to him. The final blow was his conviction and sentence on the most serious of charges. He was accused of blasphemy,